All right. We're alive for the first time in. Oh, God. Tell me that. Say something again. Let me make sure the audio levels are not cracked. Oh, no. It's just. Oh, no. It's just not pick. It's not pick. Hold on. It's just not picking you up. God fucking damn it. I gotta like. Nope. There we go. I forgot to change the channel. Now say something.
We're alive.
Okay. Now you are just peaking. Lord in heaven.
What have you done?
I don't know. Audio mixing. I mean, you keep talking about this. Evidently, like Rode has put out this thing called Unify. I'm going to look into audio mixing. Audio mixing with OBS is the worst thing ever. You get chat up on stream. Okay, that's just wrong. Damn it. Why is it just telling me to log in? Finally, some live construction.
Finally, some peak.
All right, please chat work. Okay, why does OBS have like, why is this broken now? God damn it.
God damn it.
Azure's not going to have stream. Have chat on stream, although we should have Nico chat still working. Unless that's broken too, at which point I'm just gonna. I guess I can't really say what I'm gonna do live on stream, but you know what I would do.
I don't have to say it. You just know.
Yeah, I don't have you know what I'm talking about. Say something again, Moomy, because you're still blowing my eardrums out.
I don't know what to say. Everyone's dying.
Yeah.
I'm not good with this kind of thing, right? You put me on the spot. It's a very emotional time.
Why is it emotional for you?
Well, everything's dying.
It's true. Summer's ending.
Summer's ending.
Summer is ending. Summer vacation is almost over, even though
I'm gonna have to go back to school.
I have to go back to school. Oh god,
it's gonna be real awkward. I haven't been there in like a decade.
Yeah, it's gonna. I have fucking nightmares about that sometimes, where it's like, oh god, I gotta go back to school.
Oh god, I'm late for school. Wait a minute.
I've been there in 10 years. Oh man, how am I gonna get my like high school class schedule? I gotta go to like the office or something and print it off because I forgot to.
Wake up and be like, fuck, I'm late for school.
Oh
wait,
yeah,
I don't go to school.
That's
the
first time I think of me.
That's the first time the sub sound has ever actually appeared on stream, I think. That's funny. There it is. Thank you for the subscription, Hayden. Let me tweet this out real quick. Yeah, there's a I added that a while ago. I added that sub sound.
I forgot we even had that. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good, dude. I love Gavin McInnes.
If only Gavin McInnes would just complain about anime for every time he was on.
He would be, instead of like complaining about minorities.
So whatever the fuck he's complaining about.
Yeah.
I made an alternate thumbnail for this, so we can try this one.
Try that one. Try whatever. I don't care. I already tweeted it. Nothing matters anymore. How's everyone in chat doing tonight? Rip 9 anime. It's funny the movie you put both 9 anime and Anywave on there, even though Anywave was just like a rebrand for 9 anime.
I mean, they're both recognizable brand names in their own right.
That's true, yeah. I did see some people talking about, wait, is 9 anime down? And it's like, dog. I hope you didn't give that site your password, because
oh no, I put so much money into it.
No. I gave them my credit card info. Pouring one out for a real one. I have wine I could pour out, but I don't want to because it's good wine, and I don't know. I'd like to drink it instead. You know, it's not like these websites were people per se. I guess legally, if any of them were, I guess if they're corporations, they are people. Technically, in the U.S.,
they are a group of people. Again, at the very least.
True.
Does that mean they should have more rights because they have more people?
Yes. Just torrent. Is this a bit? Listen, all right. I don't know what the mount from Elden Ring has to do with any of this.
Have you heard that conspiracy that like they named the mount in Elden Ring torrent specifically so you wouldn't be able to find torrents?
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to just type an Elden Ring torrent into Google and find anything. You just get the horse.
You just get the horse.
If true, that is hilarious.
I mean, it very well could be true.
It very well could. Much like, I feel like the only conspiracy theories I want to believe in are the ones that are funny. Like, there's probably like no factual information to back up whether like that like Justin Trudeau is the bastard son of Fidel Castro. But that's such a funny concept to me that it's like, yeah, I don't care if the facts support it. It's true because it's funny.
Look, I don't care if he's got a fucking DNA test proving that he's not Fidel Castro's kid. Clearly, he just fabricated
look
that
at the
using his connection.
And tell me that he, yeah. There's a manga by Miura called Japan. Try Google searching, and there's also a racing anime by Studio Dean called F. There's a manga that I've actually been wanting to read recently, by this mangaka Imai Arata, called F. It's just the letter F. It's so hard to search. All right, these mangaka nowadays, these underground niche mangaka are not SEO, are not search engine optimizing their manga titles.
That's how you
got X.
That's how you find like the real underground fucking artists. You find like a fucking YouTube podcast that's name is just like anime podcast or something. So that's like terrible for SEO because it's like you'll never find it.
I have noticed that, and I think it's like a kind of a funny thing where like larger YouTubers will start podcasts, but they'll start podcasts without really promoting them at all. So it'll just be like completely like shit post like title, like name of the podcast and like logo and stuff.
Have you ever seen the OVA download by Nintendo? Download Devil Circuit? It's fucking. That's actually fucking peak.
Who has
the download goes hard, yeah. Call it anime the
anime.
You know there's an artist called The
THE.
Yep.
You start just if you ever make a manga or you ever make an anime, just make the first however many characters just numbers or like special characters that'll just pop up first.
Make it like someone's password.
Yeah. yeah. Just randomly generate your manga title. It'll probably like just appear at the top of a bunch of lists.
Fuck, what was that manga with Satoshi Kon and
oh god,
Mamoru
Oshii, the one with like a bunch of numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically that kind of type beat. Well, I guess we should introduce what we're talking about today. This was your idea.
This was my idea. So let's get out of hell. There's some bad news that has been going around. Bad news. Of course, I'm sure many of you have heard by now. Ice Cube, famous rapper, actor, influencer, Ice Cube, has melted, unfortunately.
Rest in peace. Global warming claims another victim.
It's yep, much like the glaciers. I think Ice-T is out, still going pretty strong and doing another season of Law and Order SVU.
How's Vanilla Ice doing? Is he still okay?
I think Vanilla Ice isn't like dead or in prison.
Yeah.
Do you think he's sharing a cell with Informer?
Vanilla, what the hell is? Yeah, let me see here. Vanilla Ice. What's our boy Vanilla Ice been up to?
His career truly peaked with fucking Madonna.
He
and
doesn't
being in
look
the
like a
Teenage
real
Mutant
person.
Ninja
I don't know how to
Turtles.
express this other. He doesn't really look like a real person.
He looks like the AI generation of like Kyle.
2010 to present. He was on Dancing with the Stars 8 years ago.
Joined Insane Clown Posse.
Was the star attraction at a New Year's Eve party at Donald Trump's mansion, Mar-a-Lago. Oh no. Ice, no.
Well,
Is he like a Donald Trump guy or something?
I mean, it is Vanilla Ice.
I just love this sentence.
They were
eliminated. They were God damn it. They were eliminated on October 4th, 2016.
It's like a battle royale.
It makes it sound like it was just executed or something. Oh. Anyway, yeah, what are we talking about tonight? They shut down Manga Panda. I don't even know who Manga Panda is. I didn't hear. Okay, so yeah, we're talking tonight about the however many, a few, like a dozen, maybe more. I have no idea. A bunch of anime streaming sites the past week or two have basically gone offline in what some people were speculating to be like either like a coordinated takedown or like maybe it was like some like hacker group or whatever, you know, took a bunch of these websites down. In reality, what it seems to be is like a lot of these illegal anime streaming websites have been taken down all at once, presumably because they were all also just run by the same people, you know, under like some sort of same weird umbrella, however it's organized.
Well, there does seem to be like a coordinated legal effort on the half of the anime publisher companies to.
There was
we
the
don't necessarily-
Shonen Jump
okay.
thing where they were asking people something about piracy.
Oh yeah, where do you read your pirated manga? Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, Shonen Jump survey or something. Where do you read? Yeah, if you read manga illegally, where do you read it? All right. Oh God, don't do that. I don't want to hear myself. I just pulled the stream by accident. Fuck.
Why would you do that?
I don't even know necessarily if it was Crunchyroll that had these sites taken down. We haven't really gotten any sort of confirmation. It is just.
I don't know if it's Crunchyroll. A lot of the news stories I came across were citing like studios are cracking down. I'll post a couple of links.
Yeah, right.
They're very reputable news sources.
Of course, yeah. Let's see here. Studios are cracking down. A dozen of anime piracy sites have gone dark this week. All right, let's go with The Verge. I mean, The Verge is like a decently reputable source. So is LA Times. I thought you were gonna link me like some random ass site.
CBR.
Yeah, even CBR would like be somewhat reputable. Like,
hold on, here's
if
the CBR
I see
source
something
for you.
reported on CBR, I at least know that okay, that happened.
It probably happened.
Open this on CBR. Fuck this shit. Get this off my screen.
Let me see.
I did come across. I'm gonna try to find it real quick. I did come across another site, another story from like I think it was June or July, that was talking about how they sent cease and desists to like Kick-Ass Anime and a bunch of other like higher profile groups sites.
Yeah. Oh, like fan subgroups themselves.
I don't know if it was like fan subgroups specifically. It was like Kick-Ass Anime is like a distributor of some kind. I'm trying to find it for you.
So yeah, F movies was like the big one, and I would imagine that what we have seen here with these legal anime streaming sites is not necessarily a targeted effort towards anime streaming sites specifically, but rather collateral damage, essentially. Because the people who are running like these anime streaming sites are probably also either the same people running or have connections to people running sites like F movies as well. And F movies are going to come under fire much more quickly and much more swiftly than, your AniWave or AniFlix, whatever. Used to just hang out at Barnes and Noble all day. Kids need to toughen up. Barnes and Noble is just, this is a different topic. Barnes and Noble is just becoming a manga store, slowly but steadily.
There we are.
So yeah, there was Wiz Khalifa, there was like a song or like some sort of message up as well, just weird. Ace hasn't claimed responsibility for AniWave's closure, but as the LA Times notes, the call to action's verbiage matches statements posted on other sites that the anti-piracy trade organization has gone after. Interesting.
Okay, so here's a CBR article.
Are you seriously fighting me a CBR article?
Yes. Talking about
over 10 popular anime, so everything on CBR has to be a goddamn list. I swear to God. Top 10 anime sites that have just got taken down.
And then you pair this with like the in hentai shit.
Right. Well, so in hentai is definitely like a different.
That was like
matter.
a lawsuit, wasn't it?
Yeah. So in hentai is like a straight up lawsuit. So do you have an article for that? Jamie, give me an article for that so we can also talk about that, because that is like a lawsuit in like U.S. court, which is kind of wild.
All right, so here's a reputable CBR article source from 4 days ago.
Of course, thank you. Can we get like
CBR for everything?
Can we get partnered with CBR, please? And it's like because you know how there are like grifter YouTubers who quote unquote report on the news, but they only ever use shit like Bounding into Comics or like other websites like that. Yeah. We should become that, but we're just reading CBR articles.
Simultaneously, we will also complain about AI taking over the industry.
Yeah, and then also, of course, also unrelated, but still like the same past week, the Internet Archive lawsuit, also pretty fucked up as well.
Yeah. It definitely seems like there's been a more concerted effort in the past few months to try and combat internet piracy, streaming, like all this kind of internet adjacent shit, like Dogecoin and stuff like that.
If you want my conspiracy theory when it comes to this, is my hypothesis, my conspiracy theory is that what we're seeing is with companies like Crunchyroll, Netflix, any sort of streaming service, really, a lot of these companies got started in with streaming in the 2000s and really started to take off more and more into the 2010s, and then really blew up, of course, during the COVID pandemic. But even before then, the writing was on the wall that like these are basically going to be the next big thing in terms of how people are going to be consuming media.
Right.
And as a result of that, a lot of these companies were also seeing a lot of investment, a lot of venture capitalist, Silicon Valley type shit investment. Now, with the COVID-19 pandemic and its subsequent economic aftermath, what we've seen is the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates this year, I can't even remember now. They've raised interest rates rather quickly up to a fairly high level. And what that's doing is essentially, I would say, is putting a chokehold now on a lot of this easy capital that companies like Crunchyroll, Netflix, what have you, have had access to for the better part of the 2010s, where interest rates were basically at the floor following the 2008 recession. So as a result of that, these companies are starting to see less investment, less money that they actually need to just function on a just general basis. And now we're seeing this with YouTube as well, where it really seems like YouTube is also becoming more and more desperate, trying to find different ways to monetize their platform. YouTube has cracked down very hard on ad blockers over the past year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're seeing now is essentially behavior where it feels like they are looking for pennies between the couch cushions. It's like, how can we, where are we losing profit? How can we actually look to make more money without necessarily having to put a ton of money, invest a ton of money into, seeing a profit later down the line? And the answer to that, in my opinion, seems to be fairly misguided, where we are now seeing, a greater sort of scrutiny towards piracy, and a greater scrutiny, a greater degree of action taken against ad blockers as well on YouTube, because these companies need money. They haven't been getting money because of higher interest rates. So that's essentially the result, basically. I love IPOs and SPACs. I love the Federal Reserve. I love the California tech industry. I love the DMCA. So that's
Japanese yen is also rebounding. Isn't that like a bad thing though? Like I've heard that has to do with them basically taking money out of like foreign investments, and because like it's no longer safe to invest in like the US. And so now they're putting it more into the Japanese yen, and that's resulting in a short-term increase in the yen, but it's like ultimately kind of a symptomatic of like a failure in a wider sense, right?
I'm not an expert on the Japanese economy by any means, so anyone here, feel free to correct me if I say anything wrong. But even more so than the US, Japan has maintained exceptionally like some of the lowest interest rates in the world. I think at points even going negative, having negative interest rates, which is just a wild concept. And this has been the economic reality for Japan for a decade plus, essentially. And now what we're seeing as a result of the Federal Reserve trying to combat inflation here in the US, the dollar is becoming more scarce, and as a result is becoming stronger against other currencies, the yen included. So that's why now if you are importing anything from Japan, if you're buying anything in the yen, you're going to notice that instead of, it being basically a 100 yen to $1 conversion rate, it's right now like
right now is 70 cents to
100 yen
US dollar.
Yeah, so you're getting like a 30 to 40% discount right now. Now I believe the Japanese central bank has recently raised their interest rates slightly, a very, very little bit, which is actually a lot in the context of, the Japanese economy over the past couple decades. So that's probably what we're seeing now as well, is the fact that like the yen is very, very low. It's rebounding a little bit. And the yen actually being in the precarious position that it is now is probably also having a negative impact on things like being able to outsource for anime studios, but that's a whole other topic. It's bubbles bursting upon bubbles bursting. Probably, yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like we've been saying that we're in another economic bubble for how long? And I think it's just like, oh man, come on. I really hope this housing bubble we're in pops. So I can own a goddamn house and not have to be in debt for the next 200 years.
Time to buy a $500 animation cell. Actually, the time for that was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
You're kind of. I mean, you're still getting a discount, but like you're paying 10 cents more per 100 yen than you would have been like 2 months ago.
But we're getting sidetracked. So I think that's why we are seeing a greater crackdown on piracy, on things that, you know, publishers, licensors, etc. do not have control over. That's why we're seeing probably a greater scrutiny from book publishing companies towards the Internet Archive and their library. That's why we're seeing another interesting example recently has been Orange, not the anime studio, but a manga translation service that is going to use AI to effectively translate manga faster, because they have identified that as being a primary cause for manga piracy. Now, personally speaking, I think that there are a number of problems with this. When it comes to streaming, I mean, when it comes to, you know, streaming anime illegally, it's whack-a-mole. If you are someone who was using a website like Anywave prior to it being shut down, you have either already found an alternative or swapped over to torrenting or just gotten a Crunchyroll subscription. Or possibly some mix of any two or all three of those, or some other fourth option I can't really think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I guess we should, or just watching it. I think we should somewhat clarify that, like, we're talking about this not because it's like, oh no, Anywave and 9anime are gone, what will we do? It's more that it's like symptomatic of other things that are going on in the industry. Because it's like, we don't give a fuck that these sites are down, right? Because 9anime, they just re-upload fan subs, which
fan subs are even just
right now,
official subs, and it's like
they're just they're not now. Fan subs are just official subs that have just been ripped off of Crunchyroll.
Basically,
that's just how it's turned, but
making money off of it. So
which
fuck
is,
these guys, actually.
Ethically dubious to say the least.
But it is interesting to talk about in a greater context, at least.
In a greater context, yeah. Of course, you know, in this, when we talk about things like, you know, media preservation, obviously, sites like Anywave are not exactly bastions for preserving media either. You know, they are run on servers like anything else, and what we've seen historically is that the most effective way to preserve media is through decentralized services like torrenting, essentially. One asterisk on Whack-A-Mole is that it takes more time to spin one up than take one down. Yeah, although I mean I've already seen like a number of clones essentially already go up. The safety of these websites, of course, always questionable. Never go on any of them with it, like without an ad block. Certainly, I would not suggest ever going on any of them and just inputting your credit card information. That seems like a real recipe for disaster.
Just don't go on any of them, period. Like, I guess the reason why I'm here is just to say that I don't think there is a single good reason to like use pirate streaming sites, because they rip off like official and fan subs without credit and just make money off of it. And the way they make money is by having a lot of really dodgy ads. Like, I got a virus several years ago from a hentai site. Not my proudest moment, but, you know, it happens.
Should've worn a condom.
I mean, I feel like the people that use streaming sites generally are using it because they're afraid to download. Because there's a legal distinction in going to 9anime and watching a stream off of an unofficial source and downloading the copyrighted material to your hard drive for your
right. What I will say, in my non-legal expert opinion, let that be absolutely goddamn clear, is that companies do not care about the viewers watching stuff on illegal sites. Companies do not really care about people who are just downloading things. They're probably annoyed by it. They certainly do lose money as a result of people doing that. But ultimately, what we've seen is that, you go back to the 2000 with, lawsuits against people who were just using Napster, and it's not exactly effective. Making an example of people, as we have seen, has not worked. What the strategy overall seems to be is to target people who are, setting up these websites, hosting this content, or the torrenting equivalent, which is, seeding, essentially. So if you torrent something, you download it, and then you are seeding it, you are effectively then re-uploading it. You are acting as a distributor, and that's how you get an annoying email from your ISP, basically telling you to knock it off.
Well, depending on what you're downloading. If you download like Disney, they will send you your letter to your ISP provider like immediately. It doesn't matter if you upload anything or not. Which
to Crunchyroll's credit, as at least within like the past however many years, I don't think they've really outright sued anyone for just downloading a couple anime, maybe potentially seeding some of the stuff that they own licenses for.
Yeah, I've not heard anybody getting in trouble for downloading anime yet.
Right. Again, usually the way this works is you have these people called copyright trolls who are monitoring torrenting swarms of copyrighted media, and they're effectively acting on the behalf of people who own the rights to the distribution of that media. So they'll monitor the swarms. They'll note down the IP addresses of anyone they see uploading that. And then what they will do is they will then go to the ISP of that IP address, and then either ask for their information or tell them to contact the person with that IP address, and then again send them a letter to stop doing that. And then if you get a letter like that, what you then do is up to you. People
generally say, nothing happens, but
yeah. Because as far as I can tell, based on what I've read and people I've seen talk about this online, is your ISP does not really seem to care that much. As long as you are a paying customer in their eyes, and you're not doing anything horrifically illegal, they don't care as long as you're paying the money.
They're kind of obligated to send the letter, but at the same time, they're not going to.
Yeah, they're not.
As of right now,
yeah, those letters are recyclable. You can use them as firewood in the winter.
It is worth noting though that there is a future in which because like the internet is becoming much smaller, much more observed. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it works. In the sense of like, since people are generally using less websites and there's higher traffic into those few websites they're using, it's much easier to track what people are doing. There is a future in which that we are now getting like more copyright stuff for anime, and as it's getting like larger, right? Like maybe you might see it with like a Dragon Ball or a One Piece originally, but like when we compare it to like the days of like Napster, like that was like the early internet. That's like a completely different kind of thing as like what we're becoming now, right? I think definitely with like the more coordinated effort of attacking these like distributions sites and like creator like Kick-Ass Anime and all that shit, Anime Flix or whatever fuck. Like I think what you're seeing is more of a effort, like a coordinated effort to start policing this sort of copyright material online. We might not really see like an immediate effect, but I think because like even like what was it, 2015, 16 that like Nia got taken down, like the original version of it,
right?
And it had to get moved to its current host,
right?
And there are like backups, like you have like Tokyo Tosho or whatever as a backup for Nia.
Yeah.
But really,
Nya itself, because it's not really hosting all that much material, it's just the files that allow you to access a torrenting swarm for a file or set of
Right.
files. It's actually a pretty light website overall.
but it's also very easy to kind of like do the whack-a-mole thing where like you just attack the two biggest mirrors of Nya and Nya itself, and then like you'll be able to come back, but it's harder to like
Right.
when they just took out Nya. It was like everyone kind of knew like, oh, there's Tokyo Tosho, and then like they'll move Nya somewhere and we'll just find it. They take out all three and you don't really have like an immediate alternative. Then you kind of just are like, okay, well, what do you do now?
I'm like, all right, fine. I'll get on my credit card and pay for the like $8 for Crunchyroll a month.
And that's definitely something that could happen. I don't think we're at a point where it's like, oh fuck, you're not gonna be able to watch anime for free online ever again. But
yeah,
we're reaching closer to a potentiality for that kind of thing. Maybe it's
still,
like
what we've
a decade
also
or two.
seen is that Crunchyroll has grown quite a bit over the past however many years with the growth of the anime industry overall. And I think the general mindset still for these streaming companies is that, they will go after these websites when they need to or feel like it or whatever. But at the same time, I think it does come back to the issue of piracy. Piracy is a service issue. It's a quote Gabe Newell. So I think, by and large, for someone getting into anime, they're either doing it through a legal streaming service that they already have access to. They're watching anime on Netflix. They're watching anime on Hulu. And then they're more than likely then just going to go to Crunchyroll when they want to watch more stuff. And then it's really only if they get tired of that and then they start looking, elsewhere. They start looking for things that, Crunchyroll doesn't have, even if they, should have it because they bought out Funimation and they still somehow do not have Funimation's full library on their streaming service somehow. Is Full Metal Alchemist 03. I think that's the one Jeff Thu talked about a while back, where you can't watch that legally anywhere right now unless you pay the pound of flesh to get it on physical media.
Yeah.
Which is, not exactly something people are willing to do. People are certainly willing to, pay a fair amount for, physical media for things they've already seen. Or, in my, I just today remembered to back the Anime Ego Kickstarter for Dagger of Kamui, which I have not seen, but because I like Anime Ego and I like what they do, I do still want to support that. Which I guess gets into like the broader sort of topic of supporting Crunchyroll and supporting the anime industry. Where I've seen it less. I've seen this talking point be used less over the past couple of years, but there was a point when I was seeing fairly frequently, you should, get a Crunchyroll subscription because you are supporting the industry. And I feel like they've moved away from that because it's not really true. What you're doing, by getting a Crunchyroll subscription, you are not supporting the nebulous concept of, the anime industry. You are supporting Crunchyroll. So,
I guess the argument is by extension you're supporting the industry because they pay to license these things. So like they're giving a lump sum of like what, 30,000, 40,000, whatever for this license for this anime, which they would not have access to if they didn't have subscriptions or whatever.
Dead naming media OCD. But the idea still overall, I would say, is that by paying for Crunchyroll, by buying stuff off the Crunchyroll store or what have you, what you were saying is that they are providing you with a service that you think that you would like to pay for.
Right.
And there are a myriad other ways to support the anime industry. I guarantee you that you and I both, maybe probably Hayden as well. I guess I don't know how much Hayden spends in a year. But we probably spend at least as much as like someone who just has an annual subscription to Crunchyroll, we'd probably, just spending money on stuff. And I bought some stuff yesterday. I got first volume of Akira. Granted, it was from like a secondhand store or what have you, but still, I think that would, that should count as supporting the industry as much as anything else.
I just pre-ordered that Lane Nendoroid yesterday, so.
Oh, you caved?
Yeah, I hate Nendoroids, but give me like a Lane or some shit like that, I'll cave.
You were supporting the retirement funds for C-suite executives of Kadokawa and Bandai Namco, which isn't. It's the support the industry narrative does not work the instant you think about it in the context of literally anything else. Like, you are not making the people's lives in the anime industry, like people who are animating stuff, coloring stuff, working on backgrounds, whatever. People who are working as just general producers. The money you are spending for your Crunchyroll subscription is not going to them. It's like saying that in order to improve the lives of people working in Amazon warehouses, guys, we just need to spend more money at Amazon. And I think most people recognize that rationale as being completely bullshit. And the same thing just applies to Crunchyroll as well.
Well, people, like, when they would say that for Crunchyroll, it's like, dog, I'm paying, what, $15 a month at whatever point they were talking about this. How much of my money is going to the studio exactly? Because the whole thing was like, oh, well, we track what you watch and then divvy out like a percentage of your subscription proportional to what you're watching or whatever. And it's like, that sounds all fine and dandy, but then it's like you do the math and it's like, okay, Dogakobo is getting 3 cents, I guess. Like,
yeah, but you're giving 2 cents to Studio Orange. You're supporting Land of the Lustrous Season 2. It's gonna happen. And it's all because of you.
Meanwhile,
you made it happen.
$2 goes to the CEO of Sony, who owns Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I'm glad they kind of moved away from it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was a corporate thing, or like, because like they had that in a lot of the promotional material, like, oh, consume anime ethically or whatever the fuck, right?
Right, which is
like,
rather ironic given the history of Crunchyroll.
Exactly.
But I wonder if they even still do have it. We can check.
But that whole argument is like, it's still somewhat relevant, but it's also like gone by the wayside because the anime industry doesn't really care about that argument. Because like the counter argument is like, oh well, I'm not paying to watch anime, but I'm paying for like merchandise, right? Like I bought a
if you really care about supporting the industry, your dollars will go a lot further towards supporting something like the Animator Dormitory Project.
Right.
Exponentially more than paying for a Crunchyroll subscription. You should pay for a Crunchyroll subscription if you believe that Crunchyroll will offer you a service that you think is worth paying for, and that's it. This sort of like idea of like ethical consumption or whatever. As someone with a degree in economics. Be rational consumers and do it if it benefits you.
But yeah, they don't care about the argument because like they don't want you to consume things for free ultimately.
Right.
Like they want to monetize what you're consuming at all points. Like that was more of an argument, I guess, like back in the early 2010s when streaming was as much of a thing, like legal streaming. But like I think since then we've seen kind of the model that they want to try to emulate with like music.
Right.
Music piracy has gone down pretty considerably with like Spotify and like all these like streaming sites that people
and it very well could have
for.
With movies as well and all other forms of media if it was on a more unified platform. Like in the early 2010s, that's how people were talking about Netflix as well with their streaming platforms. Like, oh, there's going to be all this stuff on there. There's, for a simple fee, it's not going to cost anything. It's basically going to cost me nothing. And it's going to be far more convenient to watch something on Netflix than rather have a go and find some piracy site. But that's obviously not the case now, to the point where even if I want to watch something legally, even if I forget what it was. I think it was, I wanted to watch Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Okay.
I knew it's a Cartoon Network show, so therefore it's like, okay, it's a Cartoon Network show, should be on Max, should be on HBO Max. Go to Max, not on there. Turns out it was actually taken off a couple months prior, so it's like, what the fuck? I wanted to, go the legal route. I wanted to do the quote unquote right thing and watch it through what is still a convenient option for me, which is watching it through a legal streaming service, and you have effectively denied me that. So it's like, what are you trying to do, really?
Yeah, I feel like they will eventually get more things on there. They're just wanting to put the cart before the horse, and instead of like enticing people to get these things through having things available, they were like, okay, we will get as many people on here as possible, and then use that money to get other licenses if people are interested.
I don't really think so. I don't really know if that's the case, because what we've seen with the Warner Discovery merger specifically is that they have been removing stuff from their streaming platforms because, and I don't quite understand the rationale behind this, it is not performing well enough. And not enough people are watching it to justify having it on the platform itself, even though it's already been made. And you own it. You're not paying anyone. You own the license as a company. You are not licensing it from anyone else like Netflix would have to. You are Warner Discovery. You own Cartoon Network. You own Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Tax write-offs, yeah. I mean, I say I don't understand. I understand it as like a general concept of tax write-offs. I just don't understand how those tax write-offs actually work, because it frankly just sounds like a load of bullshit.
It basically is.
Former Cartoon Network showrunner actively endorses preserving their work through piracy. Yeah, because I know what you're talking about. I forget what show it is, but the only way to watch that show in any capacity, it's not available on any physical media. It's not available on streaming. The only way to watch it is through piracy now. Because, and I saw this put rather succinctly, is that companies like Crunchyroll, Netflix, whatever, any of these major media companies do not care about preservation. We see this historically, where a lot of these companies, you go back to the early 20th century, would just burn film reels, original masters, after the movie was basically done running in theaters. They're not thinking, preservation does not really make that much money. It's as simple as that. There's not really any money in preservation, so it's up to people who have no profit incentive to step up and do that themselves.
I think Muppet Babies was like never released on home media or anything.
Well, that's why they're remaking it. Dragon Ball Babies.
Companies seeing me watch the 1913 version of Alice in Wonderland for free on YouTube at 4K from a scanned film reel. No, you have to watch new stuff. That's the other thing as well. I mean, we're reaching a point now where quite a bit is entering the public domain. So I wonder if we're eventually going to get to a point where we're just going to have these streaming services that basically just have stuff for free on them that these companies can no longer do anything about, and you could basically just live your whole life watching those things. Cynical me says we'll never reach that point because people are ultimately going to care far more about hot new current thing. And I don't think culture is ever going to degrade to the point where people stop doing that, but I can see that being a reality in the future. It may even be a reality now. I have no idea. But then because I was thinking about this in the context of adult manga sites, I don't know why I'm saying adult manga when I have to say the word hentai when I talk about the damn website. Anyway, when we talk about whatever's been happening with hentai recently, there seems to be a fair amount of friction between legal publishers of adult manga, like Faku, Irodori, J18 Publishing, and a site like Hentai, which basically offers you as much adult manga as you could possibly ever want for free at your fingertips. It's incredibly easy to access. It is basically where the vast majority of people are going to read adult manga and find new things. So I think there is a problem when it comes to a company like Faku, when it comes to a company like Irodori or J18, potentially trying to shut down Hentai, which is that people are just going to go elsewhere, Yep. People are going to stop finding new things. I don't think that I really have to wonder if a creator like Shindowell would be as popular as he is internationally if a work like Emergence was not at the top of Hentai overall most popular works for however many years, to the point that the number that it was assigned became a meme that you could just then simply use to refer to the work itself. Would anyone, if that was something that you had to pay for to get any access to immediately, I don't know if it would really be that popular internationally. Maybe in Japan, it's certainly possible, but this is how this is basically how consumers operate outside of Japan.
Well, I think that's why the streaming model kind of thing, where it's just like a subscription service, has become so popular. Because it's like, oh, I'm just paying $5 a month,
right,
for access to all these things. Oh, I'm just paying $10 a month or whatever. And it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, because it's just a subscription that continues
it's out of
to
sight.
happen.
Now, to be fair, Faku does have a similar sort of service. J18 does offer a similar kind of. I think J18 is actually free technically. The problem is, and there is no way around this, is their libraries are exponentially smaller than what you can get for free through a website like Hentai. They're just not going to be able to compete on that front. They are not going to be able to pay enough translators and be able to still turn a profit in order to compete with all the people who are fan translating these works. Evil I'm Here makes a pretty salient point as well, and it's like, I'm not paying for a doujinshi with my debit card number, and there are a number of perfectly valid reasons for that, up to and including the simple fact that there is a general stigma towards paying for pornography in our just general society. When you talk about things that it's okay to pay for, with the advent of the internet, if you pay for porn, you are seen as almost basically being an addict at that point. You look at the way people talk about porn addiction, and you see people talking about how much money they have spent on pornography. So there's a sort of stigma when it comes to that. And then to say nothing of whether or not the content itself may actually be illegal outright in the area that you live in. Which is something.
Yeah, the thing about porn too is we were talking about, buying anime on physical media. Like, oh yeah, I'd love to own this show that I really like on physical media. I feel like there is a greater chance of you picking up something that you haven't heard of that looks interesting. That's like not porn. Because with porn, like fetishes are incredibly specific and fetishistic to the individual. And
these are
whether or not
aids.
Whether or not it pertains to your like personal tastes, like that's what matters with hentai above everything else. Like if it doesn't please you, then it has no use to you.
I mean, and let's be real here. And I'm sure many people, the three of us, and then basically everyone in chat will agree with this. Where if you are looking for something to please yourself with, you are going to go through you're going to pull up a number of different works before you find one that you want to settle down with, so to speak.
Sometimes you gotta go do
Now,
good old
Yeah.
reliable.
yeah, sometimes a new artist just dropped something. A new artist, an artist that you like just dropped something new. Let's go check it out. But it's kind of hard for me to justify the cost of paying $5 just to pull something up, and then what if I don't like it? Well, that's a real conundrum there. Now, again, the obvious way to deal with that is to simply offer it for free or for some sort of subscription where you're not necessarily tying your horse to any specific thing and swiping your credit card for anything you pull up. But again, being able to do that, you go to like J18's site, you go to Faku's site. They just do not have the libraries to compete with the site, and they simply cannot. It's not just a matter of yada yada yada. They just need to do X, Y, and Z in order to do so. No, they just simply cannot. Whether that be for legal reasons pertaining to either maybe the content of those adult manga is prurient, or copyright reasons, because as many of us are aware, not all doujinshi are derivative works, but many of them are parodies of already established properties.
Right.
So while I can, go out and find, while I can get a physical copy of that Seika Girls manga by Kurosugatari, I can't do the same for his work with Pokemon, for the very obvious reason that it's Pokemon, and Faku is not going to be able to license that legally here in the US and distribute it. It's simply just not how it's going to work. So by the very nature of the erotic manga industry in Japan, because so many of these works are parodies of already established properties, licensing them outside of Japan in order to make consumption of them legal is just simply never going to happen, unless we completely overhaul the intellectual property laws worldwide.
A lot of that is also the most popular stuff that's out there, like FGO, incredibly popular for doujins and stuff like that.
Blue Archive was the most popular thing at this most recent Comic-Con. Do you know what the second most popular thing was? Here, let's do some overworked salaryman trivia. Do you know what the second most popular thing was?
Was it Uma Musume?
The general concept of VTubers. So let's be clear. All of Blue Archive, number 1. Number 2, all stuff related to VTubers. What do you do with these Blue Archive works? How do you license them legally? You simply cannot. It is up to, the only way that we're ever going to see these works internationally is through sites like Sad Panda, what have you, of people scanning them and then translating them for free, because it's in Japan they are of questionable legality.
The artist will actually make their work available through Pixiv Fanboxer or something like that. So that stuff is still available, but it's not going to be available in one uniform Faku kind of deal.
Yeah.
And even then,
it may not even be available in English.
Yeah, the thing about hentai too is that you can really like the cover. That's been the case with me a ton of times.
Oh, God,
especially anime hentai, where it's a queen bee thing or something, and the cover looks amazing, and then you watch it and it's the worst thing ever.
It's weirdly tweened animation. It's what the fuck?
Because the anime hentai oftentimes uses the art from the original doujin.
Yes,
or
they'll get
very inspired by it, but that's not what it actually looks like.
Right.
So it's fucking NES games back in the 80s where the cover would look amazing, and then you buy it and you're playing Hydlide.
Yeah, people don't really talk about how you even consume doujins in Asia, right? Or Japan specifically, I guess. They do have them, I guess, in other parts, but you are able to at least see what you're buying, like it's pretty common practice to like be able to walk up and like take a glance through it. I mean, you're not gonna be able to sit there and just read it and be like, well, I gotta make sure this like pertains to my fetish specifically.
Right.
But you can at least get like an idea for the art style, because I feel like the art style is generally people's like selling point. Like that's either gonna make or break the dojin, right? So you have to be able to see what the art is going to look like before you start putting money down for it.
In the vast majority of situations, when people are paying for like erotic doujinshi, manga, whatever, they are doing so because they are either already familiar with that specific work or that artist. They are not. By the way, let's not even talk. Like, let's just for a moment consider the physical logistics of trying to whack off while holding a book. You can do it. It's not exactly easy.
People did this for like ages. I don't. This is just a Zoomer moment for you, I think.
Maybe.
Playboy was a thing in magazines.
Would you want to go back to it?
Yeah, do you want to go back to it?
I don't want to go back. I'm just saying it's not that hard logistically. It's
I mean, I've tried it. I own a couple of dojins in real life. It's not fun.
It's suboptimal. I will agree with you. I just don't want to paint it out like, what the fuck? How are we supposed to jack off with both your hands and holding a comic book?
You know, but yeah, so when I get stuff, you know, I own a couple doujinshi. Well, some of them aren't really comics. Some of them are actually art books from artists that I like. And I got them because they are artists that I like. I got them because they are, you know, things that I already recognize, and I wouldn't have recognized them had I not already seen them on Hentai or some other site like it.
See, I bought some doujins of stuff that I'd never heard of before. But it was
you did
like
so in Japan though, where it's significantly cheaper.
I was looking at them. I saw the cover. It's like, oh, it's a mommy cover. And I skimmed through. It's like, oh, this is a cute one where they're like going camping and stuff. So I like bought that because it has to do with the character I like, as opposed to like being an artist I know. But then I did buy manga I did buy doujinshi that I just recognized. I was like, oh, I remember this fucking doujin, and like bought it for the meme. Right.
Well, again, those will probably also cost a fair bit less as well, because you know, I think it's like.
I spent less than $1 on every one of them.
Exactly. I mean, you know, and I'll do this when I go to like record stores or whatever, where it's like, okay, I when I go to a record store, I'm not looking for things that I already recognize and I want to buy. What I'm looking for are things that I've never heard of, things that seem weird, because I'll just be going through and be like, shit, that looks crazy. I'll get that. Why not? And you know, then I go home and listen to it. I don't really consume hentai in the same. I don't spend money on hentai in the same way. I'd be surprised if most people outside of Japan do.
Yeah, I'm not really heard of a big market of buying doujinshi. Occasionally I'll see like someone's like figure tour online on YouTube or something, and they're like, oh, here's my doujin collection. They have like a shit ton of doujins. I'm like, I wouldn't even anticipate anybody would make a doujin collection outside of the US.
Show it on YouTube.
No, they don't like go through like each one, but they will like pull out a bin or something and show like they have like a stack. It looks like a comic book collection or something.
Half of Captain Tsubasi's manga can never get released outside of Japan because those arcs revolve around every IRL soccer team out there using IRL players' likenesses.
Does Captain Tsubasa beat Messi?
Also in doujinshi events, the important thing is to also have a bit of friendly interaction with the artist. You also get to know some of the regulars. Yeah. But again, I am not going to begrudge. You know, I think what companies like J18 or when it comes to like Manga Gamer for video games, they're doing pretty good. They're doing good work, I would say. You know, that's perfectly fine. But let's be real. I'm not going to like take a shot in the dark, no pun intended, just buying something I'm completely unfamiliar with. So I think these attempts to take down a site like Hentai in the context of adult manga is fundamentally misguided. Now, if they have like, and this does seem to be the case to a certain extent, where if they have like actual like official translate, like if Faku does a translation or if J18 does a translation of something, and that translation itself is on a site like in Hentai, I think that's fair game. What we've also seen though is if they just have any works from that artist, again, Kurosugatari, all of their stuff was taken off and Hentai. Even the Pokemon stuff, which I believe it's J18, does not have licenses for, obviously.
I remember Mizuria K's stuff got taken down off of
That's another one, yeah.
And Hentai.
Yeah. Even their Sailor Moon stuff, which obviously they don't have a license for. So what you're doing, as far as I can tell, is, obviously these artists have, very large audiences already. They have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. But at the same time, would I have ever been exposed to any of their stuff had it not been available to me illegally beforehand? Probably not. Or, am I now at all aware of what these artists are doing as a result? Unless it comes up on my Twitter feed, no.
I think hentai probably benefits the most from piracy.
Yeah. I mean, you look at pornography in general. You look at the way Pornhub has and the general porn industry has shifted its overall monetization and marketing strategies over the past 15 years. And as an industry, the porn industry has always been fairly forward thinking when it comes to adopting and adapting to new technology. Rather than try and make the audience conform to pre-existing modes of consumption, they have instead readjusted themselves to what the audience is now doing. Now, if you ask me... Sorry, go.
I feel like Girls Band Cry is an interesting
yes, that Girls Band Cry is an interesting safe for work example, certainly.
Yeah, because like it didn't get licensed by anybody, and yet it still built a fan base.
It
so
is
like,
available
how to
now
do that?
Officially, digitally, buy like the digital copy. It's not on any streaming services. I think it's like just on like, you get it on Amazon or whatever.
Would that have ever been a thing, even if it didn't already build like a fan base
absolutely
where people were talking about it?
Oh, 100% no. But no one would have talked about it if it was not available. Like if no one was subtitling it under the table, no one would be talking about it. So when it comes to, adult manga, I think probably the best solution or the best approach I would say is for a site like Hentai where everyone is going there. Everyone is like looking at stuff, finding new stuff. What they should have is a simple and easy way to then spend money on those things that you're already looking at. Either link me to the artist, link me to their Pixiv, to their fan box. If I can buy it legally outside of Japan, or if I can even get it from a Japanese vendor and have it shipped to me overseas, have links to that sort of stuff where I can then go and purchase it myself. Or does the artist have like a Patreon or what have you? Things like that. And I believe you can Sad Panda comments are pretty good about this, supporting the artist. But I think a similar sort of thing for Hentai, which is a much larger site, I think that would be a welcomed addition to that site. It's like, do you like this work? Here's where you can buy it. Here's the artist's socials. Here's where you can support the artist. No piracy and fan subs means no AMVs and no anime YouTubers. Yeah.
Doesn't Faku... I feel like there's like... I guess I'm thinking of like Mandarake or something where they like when they'll post doujinshi that has like a couple pages that kind of show you like, okay, this is what you're kind of getting. Wasn't that common practice though for like some other sites? Am I misremembering that?
As far as I'm aware, no. I think Falco will tell you what the magazine is, like link to the magazine, but I don't know if they link to the artist's like socials or anything like that. Yeah, it is funny when it's like whenever you see an anime YouTuber coming out against piracy, or say anything about it, it's like, dog, how the fuck are you making videos? I know you're not, but it's like,
I know you're not ripping the Blu-rays yourself.
yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna name any names, but I have seen people around who are like just screen recording off of Crunchyroll to make videos, which is like the most like cute way of like trying to make a video as legally as possible, I guess.
Well, that's not even a legal practice.
That's still
recording-
violating copyright. That's still
Yeah,
basically just taking a camcorder into a movie theater.
Well, it's commentating on top of it, so you know you're transforming the material.
I mean, it's transformative, but you're still like, if you're worried about downloading it because this is copyright material, it's like the difference of recording someone's screen cap that they like recorded with a camcorder into theater, and then just going to the theater yourself and recording on your phone in your pocket.
That's
Like,
funny and
It's
soulful.
the same thing.
I just think it's really funny that they're not like downloading the episode off of like 9anime or torrenting it. Like they don't even like consider that.
Well, no, because that's illegal.
True.
I'm recording off my legal, even though that's not like you can't actually record off your legal streaming service because you don't own the thing. And in fact, if you rip your legal copy of like a Blu-ray, right? If you have a Robotech on Blu-ray or something, like you can legally, you're legally allowed to rip that and have that as like a digital copy or digital backup. You cannot then use that to like upload other places. You can, I guess, like in the sense of like using like for a video, like a video essay or something. If it's transformative, I think you can do that. That would be like literally, I think, the only ethical, legal, quote unquote, way to do it. But
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You'd have to literally own the Blu-ray, rip it yourself, and then use like under 10 seconds or whatever the fuck the copyright allots on YouTube. But no, the idea of like recording off of Crunchyroll is just
Yeah, it was like bizarre to me, like with that group of people. Like none of them like knew about torrenting, and they have been making videos for so long. It's like what is happening? How are you making videos? How are you having hard subs in every single video and like you manually record it? That must take forever.
This
What are you
season
doing?
anime video has been ethically clipped. What we need is ethically sourced anime content on YouTube. I will say this: it seems like Katakawa is a bit more lenient when it comes to that stuff. Obviously, they have people like Gigak and the Anime Man on their payroll, and every Gigak video you can obviously tell is using clips from anime that have been downloaded. So I think they are savvy to the fact that it's like, oh, that is necessary in order for shows to be promoted on social media. God, if you imagine a world in which any Twitter clip you ever saw of a show just evaporated, how the fuck would you hear about stuff anymore? No one would be talking about anything.
Well, you would just have to receive a message from the My Dear Friend Nokotan team where they're offering you official assets of the characters and English hard sub the trailer.
That's what I mean. I mean, let's be real though. Like, that is a far better mindset to have towards this sort of stuff than being like, I don't want you to share anything of my stuff without my permission. You must kiss the ring before you are allowed to even use my show's title in a tweet.
so that started off as like a Bane impression. Somehow turned
what
into
the fuck
something
was
like
that?
Greek, like the dude that ate grapes or something, like and then turned into like Bane doing that.
Listen here, little boy. You will pay me money to talk about my thing.
Can you
In order
guys
to-
talk about the increasing difficulty in getting videos off of YouTube? I think they'll block downloading from the site eventually, entirely at one point. Yeah, it's getting harder. Like all the ones that were just like kind of immediate, like you would type in like YouTube downloader, are all
Oh yeah,
kind of already gone. The ones that are left are like not great.
not great.
Um,
Kind of sus.
They used to have more. I feel like they used to have more like extensions that did that.
What?
And
Giving
those are
CBR
kind of
clicks, giving clicks to CBR. By the way, guys, I don't know if you know about this. Highly recommend CBR, reputable news source. Go check them out. There'll be a link in the description.
yeah. For anyone that hasn't been since the beginning of the
We're
stream,
going to become the #1 CBR chills. All right, and then we're gonna get an angry email being like, "You guys did not get permission to use our article." I don't know, why is it morphing into Yoda now? You did not get permission to use our article in your stream.
our articles you did not permission for.
Oh god, oh that makes no fucking sense. Ow. Ow, my head. Companies literally can't pay for the dedication 10 fans can have. I mean, again, you look at again, the popularity of Blue Archive has been driven so heavily by like grassroots fan content to the point that I swear to God, it's becoming unavoidable.
Yeah,
It's creeping in into Western territories a bit too, with like the
Yeah.
blue Sechi animations.
Copy stream onto VHS tape. Someone please go and download all of our videos, all of our podcasts, and just put them on tape. All the podcasts, put them on cassette tapes. All the videos, put them on VHS tapes.
remember when they were saying like cassette tapes were making a comeback? Like, what was that like 5-10 years ago?
Yeah, thank God.
Well, actually, cassette tapes are a better form of storage than digital.
No. No. CBR did not get permission to use Love Blue Girl asset in the article splash image. I mean, you know that if these anime companies, if these Japanese companies really wanted to, they could just nuke like a site from like My Anime List or Annie List or whatever from just using any images on their sites ever. They won't do that because that'd be the stupidest fucking thing I'd ever heard. But they could. It's just very funny to think about.
Is Elaine popular because of company promotion? No, it's because of trans people.
I thought it was because of the episode that aired after 9/11.
Well, that too. You know, Elaine got a huge like viewer boost after 9/11.
Yeah. No, I feel like
I don't like that. Why is our deep fake Charlie XCX bot underperforming? That made me fucking gag. What the fuck? Yeah, Weeb Crew on VHS with hard-coded subs, bright yellow or green.
I feel like companies are like trying to move away from the word of mouth system. For better or worse, I don't know if I would say
They're
it's
looking at ways to game the algorithm now, basically.
Yeah, it's all algorithm focused. So like
Right.
they don't really care as much that people are gonna like spread around like, hey, Girls Band Cry is cool and popular and awesome. You should watch it. They don't care about that word of mouth. They care more about like an algorithm being like, hey, Girls Band Cry is cool and awesome. You should watch this video, and people click on the video and then feed the algorithm.
I mean, you see that with Nokotan, and then after that initial huge like boom of popularity, like how many people are talking about Nokotown now? And then you see like the mouse score like tanking by a full point.
This is why Lane is popular. This man single-handedly. I don't know if I should have a naked Lane on stream much longer.
Yeah, get up the
remember that
hentai ladies instead.
I mean, they could put it on TV. Who fucking cares? Who needs fans when you have AI bots? They're getting worse. I swear to God, I see them on Twitter now, and it's like they're getting even stranger. Where I will see multiple replies from the same account, and I don't know if it's just because I'm only seeing them when they have Indian names, or if they're just using Indian names for some reason. And like I see like 10 replies from the same account, all in like Korean or Japanese. And then I go to like their profile, and it's just all, and it's like nothing else in Hindi or Jap. It makes no sense. I don't understand what the fuck is going on with Twitter now. Jesus Christ.
We're gonna just get into the dead internet theory, except this is applying to anime fans.
I'm willing to believe neither of you exist and no one in chat exists. I'm just here, you know, having a good time in my room by myself, talking to a bunch of fairly sophisticated AI, or my schizophrenic delusions after I down a gallon of ayahuasca.
Yeah, the voices in my head just accompany me. They're my friends.
Nobody exists. Nobody's really here. Yeah, no one's ever really gone.
I see bots on Reddit posting just the name of an anime along with a trailer of said anime. No comments.
Like
I know the discussion moved on, but I just remembered that a big problem for adult material distribution is that the payment platforms, for some reason, hate adult material. That's another thing. And you would hope and expect that a company as large as Faku to dedicate far more legal resources towards fighting things like that than combating piracy. Which one do you think is like? I feel like the bigger problem is you not being able to get paid at all, rather than people finding works not through your own website. It's
I don't know. I feel like
it's on the air before 2020. You're just not real.
I feel like it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. You have algorithms and you have word of mouth. Word of mouth has failed a lot of shows, a lot of different works, a lot of creators. Algorithm is now doing the same, just with different people in a different system. I don't know if there's a better. I guess word of mouth is better in the sense that it's at least people. It's not just like contingent on some magical like hand.
A predictive algorithm that 9 times out of 10 is actually kind of bad at predicting what I want to watch.
Yeah, I guess word of mouth is preferred to that, but at least like when it's not working. I guess when it is working, I guess you're more likely to find things through algorithms.
Let's test and see if Google is monitoring my phone. I'm going to scream into my phone right now. I need to get a Laserdisc player. I really, really, really want to buy a Laserdisc player.
I don't know.
Man, I would love to see some advertisements for some Laserdisc players.
Laserdisc.
I'll get back to you on
cleaners.
whether or not I see any advertisements for some Laserdisc players in the future.
Laserdisc storage, Laserdisc players, Laserdisc TVs, Laserdisc.
Laserdisc TVs.
I'm just imagining someone in like a mental asylum with like their phone is like the only thing in front of them, and they're just like saying words like a crazy person, but it's like, YouTube tags.
Yeah. No,
I mean, that literally is a video.
Yeah.
Someone did that with like dog toys.
Oh, lol.
Despite me literally screaming at technology, it just doesn't do what I want. I don't understand why. It's like yelling at a plant to grow. There's a market for a 2-hour video about laughing salesman games on PC 98, then people were going to watch it. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a question of, some people just don't know what they want to watch until they're watching it. That's how you fall down weird rabbit holes. I've been watching for some reason a lot of archaeology content on YouTube recently. I have no idea why. I'm not like really into archaeology, but it's just something to put on and I don't know, lie in bed with.
I don't even necessarily know if that's like something that people want to watch. I think the algorithm will just feed you just random shit until you eventually find something you're like, I'll watch this.
You know, either scrolling forever until I see a video or just slamming refresh a dozen times.
Do you feel like did you watch a lot of TV, like cable or satellite?
Oh God, yeah.
Do you feel like it takes you longer to find something to watch on YouTube than it did back in the day to watch something on TV?
God, that really depends on what time of day it was. Honestly, if it's the middle of the day on like a Monday afternoon and I'm not like in school, I think I probably would just turn the TV off if I'm gonna be honest, because there'd be nothing on that I want to watch. Now I would say I have more options with that, with like, you know, the internet.
We do have more options. You do get the paralysis of choice, I guess.
Who else loves the effort the Weave Crew puts into their uploads? I always keep coming back for more. Please comment that. Please comment that on the VOD. I want that to be the only comment on I want it to look like we are botting our fucking videos. God, oh, the emojis too. What the fuck? Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're scrolling, it slows down 5 seconds on something, the algorithm thinks you want more of it. Yeah, I have noticed that before. I have absolutely noticed that before, like going through like just doom scrolling through Instagram or something, where it's like, wait, what was that? And I just keep going again. And then for some reason it's like, hey, did you want more of that? And it's like, I didn't really. I want to just double check something.
I was talking to my grandma. I just looked away from the screen for 2 seconds, please.
There's more options now, but there's also more slop, so it can be hard to find the good stuff. Yeah, here, let's run a social experiment, all right? This is the only video like we've watched on YouTube this stream. What is our home screen going to look like? Oh, fuck. It still looks like a lot of trash. I love The Office.
I love the
disturbing effect of child neglect.
What the fuck is that?
Is this like?
It's like claymation.
Yeah, this is like
I remember Hiding in Public talked about that film.
That's at least interesting. I'm dead. You and me both, brother.
Wait, why is it just... I'm dead.
Oh, yeah, it's like a gun YouTuber. He's dead now. It's like one of those videos you recorded in advance, be like, if you're watching this, yeah, I'm no longer walking this mortal plane. Oh.
I feel like we need to record that. Or just like, if you're listening to this podcast, we're dead. It might be dead. 70 years in the future, and if YouTube's still around.
Mr. Beast, Kendrick Lamar is going to be at the Super Bowl. I guess we're getting more Asian content than we probably would otherwise, like a couple videos, but to be fair, this is also just off a single data point, which is one video, and it's trying to predict based off that, but, you know. This is your default, though. This is your default internet, basically. The lane to child neglect pipeline.
Dude, does it feel like some things like don't get put in the algorithm though? Like I feel like you could watch like ASMR videos or something, but then you will not get recommended ASMR videos on your feed.
Yeah, or like if I'm watching 5-second funny videos on YouTube, as I often do when I'm like crying myself to sleep. It'll usually just keep recommending me those on my homepage for the time being, and then the next day it'll go back to normal.
Good way to go out schedule. That actually kind of sounds like a cool thing to do. Just make an episode that will go up like 100 years in the future. Just be like, "Hi, people, 100 years in the
I don't know,
future.
type in Weeb
We're
Crew.
dead."
Hey, look, it's us.
Oh my god. Oh my! Why? No. What are you doing? It actually kind of sounds like a cool thing to do. Just make an Why would you do this? Go up like 100 years in the future. Just be like,
Yeah,
"Hi, people,
100 years. So
in the future.
type in Weeb
We're
Crew.
dead."
Hey, look, it's us.
Oh my god. You have fucked the stream.
Oh no, it's starting. Here we go. This is how we're ending the stream, guys. Yeah.
Why would you do this? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, it's streamception, guys.
Well, we've lost like 10 people.
Like this is a bad bit.
Why would you do this? Just instantly lose 10 people.
But now
Just be like,
see,
what the fuck are y'all doing?
Let's see what our homepage now looks like. Getting better.
The Weeb Crew experiment.
This is relevant.
What is
psychopath versus sociopath?
Saying every racial slur is
This
speedrun.
is relevant.
This truly is the Weeb Crew pipeline.
If there's one thing I associate our podcast with, it's racism. It's
Speak like a pro.
racial slurs. Ernest Goes to Jail is slept on.
True. Honestly, the Ernest movies are just slept on in general. Let's just be real.
Everything is fractals. Everything else we want to talk about? I feel like we probably exhausted this topic, and we wanted this to be a shorter stream.
Yeah, I want that death video to come out as soon as possible.
Yeah, we are absolutely recording that. Class of
We'll
09.
make it-
I saw that. I want to ignore it.
And make a podcast that's supposed to go up in 100 years about.
It's like there's a like a John Malkovich movie like that.
Anime probably doesn't exist. There's probably a nuclear holocaust. YouTube probably also does not exist.
Yeah,
I think
there's
the
probably no
Earth
way
will just explode.
to play the video.
How many VHS tapes do you guys own anyway? In my
Yeah.
room. Hold on. One.
I don't want to go back and count. Not a ton.
I probably have at least 20 sitting in my room. There's a bunch that are probably ruined in the garage.
Yeah, probably like 5 or 6 I've just gotten from like thrift stores of like they're not even anime, they're just random shit.
I think I
Well,
also
I have
like,
a-
between 5 and 7.
I have the Totoro Trauma dub on VHS in here, and then I got like Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, Godzilla versus King Kong versus Godzilla.
What do I have? I have Malice Doll, 1 volume of Bubblegum Crisis, first 2 episodes of Card Captors, Project Echo. I think that's it.
For
I have the
Railroad.
Memo movie on Betamax.
It's really funny this like 100 years movie, it comes out, it just sucks.
Probably does.
We should make the 100-year thing terrible as well.
This is what content was like 100 years ago.
This is
It's
what
fucking
yeah.
garbage.
Just look how good you have it now. While they're like, bang, society is completely collapsed.
You have it so much better. Everyone thinks everything's getting worse, but it's always getting better, and they're just listening to them from their fucking bunker.
It's like, man, I wish I had microplastics in my blood instead of horrific radiation poisoning. Because our planet was hit by a gamma ray burst that destroyed the ozone layer. There, we've come full circle. We come full circle to a conversation that only we had. That was before we started the stream.
Well, that's unfortunate. That would have made a good. That would have made a good full circle moment.
I know how we can come full circle.
We need to future proof it by anticipating the slurs of the future. Start using was like mudbloods or something. Like stupid.
No, you can click on the ice cube picture, and then you can end the stream.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, the stream will loop perfectly. Even though we started off in hell. So we're going back to hell.
$30 copies of Space Jam. Well, that's what like fucking Red Letter Media did, except it was what
oh god, yeah. But it was something.
They like destroyed all the copies.
Yeah, they destroyed all of them. It's like poetry. Yeah, the stream is like poetry. It rhymes. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Just like my idea for the podcast, where it has no beginning and it has no end. It just continues.
We do a podcast episode where let's make the 100 episode podcast episode where we just rhyme the entire time.
Rhyme?
Yeah.
That sounds awful, actually.
It'll be a good time.
We should make the if we ever make it to episode 100, we should make that one come out 100 years in the future.
It'll just be like Weeb Crew episode 99 and then Weeb Crew episode 101.
Can't wait for
then episode 100 will just be Lost Media.
Upload a video in 100 years where he's going to reveal that he's like an immortal deity. That's the real long con. He really is always 2 steps ahead.
100 years of video from Nick Okada fucking drops and he's just like, I'm still alive, bitches.
Still alive. I'm consuming planets now.
Okay, no. We make episode 100 comes out 100 years in the future, but we make it like early access on Patreon, so you go listen to it 100 years early. If you subscribe to the
there
Patreon.
We go. Perfect. There's a way we'll just have it perpetually scheduled on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think you can schedule it out 100 years in the future, and it'll just sit there.
Yeah, I'll just sit there.
People do it with like 10 years and shit. I'm sure you can do it with 100.
Anyway,
I'm sure
that's
like
the stream for the night. What?
I was gonna say, I'm sure it would get lost before that. I'm sure like YouTube's fucking system would like somehow fuck up and delete it or something.
Yeah, probably. It just wouldn't be saved.
Yeah, we went on long enough. We're just dragging.
Yeah, we've postponed.
Yeah, the stream is
inevitable. Anyway,
we said our piece.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna try and do weekly streams. We keep saying this, but I want to see if we can do it at least for a month straight. So,
for the month of September, we will definitely be doing one every week.
Yes, this is the first Sunday of the month.
Correct.
No, it's not.
It is in my book.
September the 1st was, but still, there'll be 4 consecutive Sundays in the month of September where we will be streaming something. I need to go now because I'm a little bit sick. I'm coming back from a cold and I'm getting kind of stuffy. A little bit. Oh god.
Damn, are you getting COVID from that Nokotan episode?
Yeah. I'm getting a chronic wasting disease. Or whatever
the anime. Just make episode 100 our top 100s. Make that the 100.
We're just predicting anime in 100 years.
Kexi already did that.
Was it 100 years? I remember, wasn't it like the Hungry Caterpillar or something? like that kind of
It
shit.
was like 5 years.
Not 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, and it's fucked up because we're actually like kind of creeping up to that point now.
Oh man.
I think the first one he did was like for 2025, something like that. So we'll be getting a new season of Mermaid Melody anytime now.
Anytime now. Just
Anyway,
waiting.
I'm swallowing
They're dropping
phlegm
merch.
now by the minute.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
you got the one that can stream it. You're the one that ends it.
I
We
just